Did you see Ricky Martin in the Super Bowl yesterday?
That was a nice surprise, actually. Yeah.
He looked like Joey Lawrence.
Dude does not age. He's definitely drinking like baby, like placenta or something.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, Ricky Martin, for as South American as he is, he's not drinking South American baby tears. He's not on that level. That's not happening.
All
That's
right,
not
so the Super
happening.
Bowl was yesterday, and everyone's talking about the halftime show, and I know you got a lot to say about it, so go at it, Dan.
Here's what I have to say about the Bad Bunny performance itself. Let's just start with the performance, and then we'll go backwards. The performance to me felt like uh, everything about the production was spectacular. Everything about the production was spectacular. And I do I know Bad Bunny. I know Bad Bunny. And years before people were hearing about Bad Bunny on the Super Bowl, I was playing them in my car. You know, I asked my little cousins. I'm like, "What's some good Spanish music?" And my little cousin, she's like, "Oh, you gotta listen to Bad Bunny." Got some, you know what I mean? So I know a little Bad Bunny. That being said, when he went out for this performance, I felt like it was one of those movies where like the entire production was there, but somebody had kidnapped the actual lead singer and he was just like tied and gagged in the back, and some normal guy came out and was just winging it. That's the way it felt like at the beginning. And then Lady Gaga comes out. And when Lady Gaga comes out, the music style shifts. Then it gets into this like salsa-y, almost kind of merengue-y kind of a feel. And it reminded me of my childhood because growing up in the Spanish culture, when I would go visit my cousins, some neighbor would always have like a radio blasting it out onto the street, and the whole block would just be a party. And so it was a great time, great time. So it reminded me, I actually got a little emotional because it reminded me of my family in the middle of what I did. I was hiding from people. And then it went back to Bad Bunny, and it was like this imposter singer performance. And then it was followed by an anti-ICE rally.
Yeah. Well,
last thing, let me wrap up one last thing. But just to the NFL did you know the second the Bad Bunny anti-ICE rally was over at halftime of the Super Bowl, they immediately went to an ICE commercial?
Oh, I didn't catch that. But I also didn't catch the anti.
Of course you didn't, because of where they put it, but they did it anyway so they can say, "Hey, we showed everybody."
Like I said, I didn't catch any of that because, okay, so I'm glad you said that a part of it brought you back to something of your childhood, whatever. Because to me, my only problem was all in Spanish, which is everybody's problem. I think the internet's a little too outraged about the Spanish speaking thing, but I get it. I mean, how much of the audience, of the NFL audience, is primarily Spanish speaking? How many of them don't understand Spanish like myself? So I felt left out. I think a lot of Americans felt left out. So a lot of people thought it was un-American. I thought it was a great performance. I was in and out. I was also, looking at the Turning Point one on my phone. So I was giving both the ratings, whatever. I was waiting for something woke to happen that I didn't see. I just think that was a bad choice this year, especially since they were pushing All American, it's our 250th anniversary, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, if they did it next year, 3 years from now, I don't think anybody would have batted an eyelash at all the Spanish speaking part of it. Now, at the end of it, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, the parade of flags he did at the end, right? Is that what you're saying is the anti-ICE protest? Do you speak Spanish?
Yes.
Okay, I don't.
Yes,
so
I
I have
do.
no idea. He just could have been saying "kill Whitey, kill Whitey, kill Whitey." I don't think he was, but I'm saying he could have been saying that. But
Yeah.
to me, visually, since I didn't know what he was saying, it made me wonder. I'm like, wait a second, aren't all those flags in the Western Hemisphere?
Yes.
And aren't we? Isn't Donald Trump trying to maintain order in the Western Hemisphere? So this seems to be on board with this administration's plan. So, like I said, I don't know what he said. And that's the problem. We don't know what he said. You know what he said. I don't know what he said. A lot of people in my situation know what he said, which made it inaccessible to a vast majority, I think, of the country.
You hit on a few different things, right? So number one, so I'm the only person that speaks Spanish that was in my house. There was 4 of us that were in my house, and they kept asking me, "What is he saying?" And then they were accusing me of not telling them for saying. And I promise you, I was listening up, but I was catching every 15th word because he was going like this. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right. So I caught my girlfriend in the
That
middle
sounds
of a
like
bunch
Spanish
of
to
mumbling.
me.
Yeah, but yo, man, that's racist. Yo, man, yo. All right, look, I can't look if that's the way you're gonna talk. I can't be your friend anyway. so anyway,
Take your
right.
ball
So
and go
here's the deal.
home.
Yeah, I'm going to take my football and go home. All right. So let's talk about all of the subtle implications. Right. What he was saying. Look, I had difficulty understanding because he was mumbling the whole time. I had very much difficulty understanding. But at the very end, what he did is he brought people out and he's like, Venezuela, Colombia, da, 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 da. And so everybody in my house laughed at me because when he went República Dominicana, I was like, yeah. Oops, sorry, gotta put my populism down and stop agreeing with the globalists. But when they said República Dominicana, I was like, oh, so I almost cursed.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's
But
nothing wrong with
anyway,
I feel this unreasonable attachment to Italy. You know, I've never been there, and I'm like, what, 3 or 4 generations removed, so it's okay, man.
I'm one generation removed. Like I literally, like when I was a kid, I was raised. I thought everybody spoke Spanish. I did. I thought everybody spoke
Mhm.
Spanish because as a kid, my mom spoke Spanish. Half my family spoke Spanish. My dad, who's an American guy, speaks Spanish. I was raised. I'd watch Sesame Street, and they spoke Spanish on Sesame Street. So in my life, everybody spoke Spanish. And then I got
Ex
to
except for Bad
kindergarten.
Bunny.
Yeah, it's not Bad Bunny. He did. He sounded like that. Remember that? Remember that U2 song where the Edge was just like, I think he had like hands on his face. That's exactly what it
Yeah.
sounded like. All right, so let's bring it back around. So at the end, what he did was he had everybody come together and wave their flags and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And this ties into really what's happening out there, which is and this is where you talk about the Western Hemisphere thing. It kind of scares me a little bit because that goes into globalism. That goes into globalism, and that's really what they're doing. Is that what Bad Bunny is trying to promote? And the reason why everybody's anti-immigration or anti-ICE is because there is this globalist movement that a lot of people don't understand. And the whole purpose behind the globalist movement is that we don't have our own country. That's why the borders were open, and that's where they're trying to change. That's why Europe is all of a sudden just the entire complexion of Europe is being changed so that we can just all kind of be this one world thing. So what Bad Bunny is doing, because I don't believe Bad Bunny understands. He's just some stupid kid who's just singing. He's just trying to sing and stuff like that. So he's up there like, oh yeah, these people hate the Hispanics. Let me get as many Hispanics as I can and gather them together to go, look, we Hispanics, you don't
Mhm.
like us, screw us, we're American too. And they're right. They're not wrong. They're not wrong, but that's not what it's about. That's why I didn't watch the Turning Point thing yesterday. You know why I didn't watch the Turning Point thing? I didn't watch the Turning Point thing, A, because I don't believe in Super Bowl halftime activism. All right. That's what's
Mhm.
Super Bowl halftime activism. Here's the deal where there's a void, there's
That's
opportunity.
fair.
So the evil people at the very top, they go like this. Okay, so NBC, which is NBC is the prime evil out there, right? So NBC is going to host the Super Bowl. There's a lot of people that aren't going to watch because it's NBC. There's a lot of people that aren't going to watch because it's Turning Point. So what do? They all go to YouTube, or because it's Bad Bunny. So they all go to YouTube, which is owned by Google. It's owned by
Yeah.
Google. Like, here's the deal: the owner of NBC and the owner of Google sit at the exact same dinner table and be like, "Hey, pass me a leg, pass me an arm." You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they do. Like they're like they're so all so all of a
I
sudden
got it.
so all of a sudden
Wilson!
yeah, exactly. But so YouTube all of a sudden made millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars off of the people that were like, I'm not going to pay attention to Bad Bunny. I'm going to protest and give this other person who's still part of the same evil conglomeration at the top the
Mhm.
money. You know what I mean? So your activism, you're foolishly supporting evil on both sides.
Yeah, what it is so, you said a couple things that I need to address before we hit it out. Um, so my problem with the Turning Point thing is I don't wanna listen to a mostly country themed thing. I don't dig country music. I like, Hispanic and Central American and South American, Venezuelan music, that type of stuff, like Afro-Cuban jazz, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, but it's not speaking to me directly, so I personally didn't wanna watch either show. So,
Mhm.
it just occurred to me with what you were saying, like, where you got YouTube guy and NBC guy sitting down and eating people's legs and stuff. Um, they both got might have been like one of the best marketing campaigns in history. So what they did was they convinced everybody by watching whatever you're watching is you're gonna get to do something about what you don't agree with this, but you agree with this, and I'm going to show everybody that I agree with this. And they use that against us to get ratings on both sides and get eyeballs on what they wanted them on. It's excellent marketing if you think about it. Because I did,
Mm-hmm.
we were all like, what do we do? Which one do we watch? There was a whole discussion at the Super Bowl party last night. Which one are we going to watch? We ended up doing both. So they got it both out of us.